I want to call to order the meeting of the Rutherford County Public Safety Committee meeting for February. Good to see each and every one of you here this evening. At this time, we will ask for the approval of our minutes. Mr. Vice Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman. I've reviewed the minutes, found them to be in order, and move for their approval as mailed.
We have a motion to approve. We have a second. Commissioner James, all in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, minutes have been approved. I don't believe we have any public comments. No public comments have been phoned in. We'll move right into PAWS Report with Director Michael Gregory. Good evening, sir.
We had 287 animals come into the shelter. Our live release rate was 93.3% for dogs, 94.6% for cats, and when wildlife were included, it was 94.0%. Our officers completed out 1,240 calls for the month. We traveled a little over 8,000 miles. Fiscal year to date, we've had 2,653 animals come into the shelter with a 92.3% live release. Officers have completed out 8,473 calls, traveling 59,472 miles. Next page of the report is the rabies exposure and bite report. If you'll recall, this goes by calendar year, so we started over on January the 1st. We did have 30 bites reported for the month. 2 of those were tested. None of them came back positive, and we had 0 other exposures for the month. Last page of the report is just the graph that I give you all that gives you the visual of the intakes versus the outcomes for our animals. And that's my report, sir.
Commissioners, any questions, comments on the report? We have a motion to accept. Commissioner Oliver. Second. Commissioner Rattler. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, it has been approved. Thank you. I believe you have you have a grant request?
We're just asking to apply for the State of Tennessee Animal Friendly Grant. We apply for this every year. They have not released the documents yet, but I anticipate them coming at any time. It is a no match grant. You can apply up for $5,000, and then basically they just divvy it up among the folks that apply. The last 2 or 3 years, we've gotten $1,500, and it's used for spay and neuter surgeries for low-income residents. So permission.
Asking for permission to apply. Commissioner Oliver. Move to approve. Commissioner Serino, seconds. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Been approved, sir.
Have a good night.
Thank you. All right, OSHA.
Good evening. So the OSHA report we have for January, it's also your year-to-date totals. You'll see for the month of January, we had a total of 15 incidences. In the OSHA log total recordables, there were 12. Lost day claims, there was 1. Restricted day claims, 10. Other recordables, there were 1. On the job injury, on the next page, on your job injuries for 2024, there were, again, was 15. 23 was 26. And for 22 was 11. On the job injury incurred dollars, 2024, 49,000 compared to 2023, 104,000 compared to 2022, 57,000. And the last page, you have Board of, to break down the incidences, you have Board of Education had 7, County General had 8. Of the County General, 4 of them was the Sheriff's Department, 2 of them was EMS, 1 of them was JDC, and 1 was the Circuit Court Clerk's Office. And that concludes my report, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you, Mr. Elam. Any questions, comments?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Good question. Once you do have these injuries, is there any remediation or continued education on how to prevent these with the persons that are injured?
Yes. So we'll go in, especially like with the schools, we'll go in and we work with the maintenance department. We'll get video. We will sometimes call, depending on if it was maintenance related, meaning there was water in the floor, or if it was something that we feel like that would take additional training. You may have like a cafeteria worker, the way that person may be handling hot food, something like that. So a lot of times we will call and follow up to see, is there a better way of doing it? I know with PAWS, we were having some injuries with bites several months ago, and we researched some better gloves that a lot of veterinarians were using, and it seemed to reduce our bites tremendously. So yes, we do follow up on the type of injuries that there are.
Good question. James?
What about with this past ice that we had? Any of that with this, or did we manage to kind of dodge that bullet?
No, we had a few falls due to the ice.
It was due to the ice.
Mm-hmm.
So what process do we have to help prevent that in the future? Just getting the rock salt to them and administered via maintenance out there, or?
Well, one of the things that you have is like on the north side of a building, you might block off that entrance because the sun doesn't shine on that side. So the rest of the building, it may be melted, but on that particular side, and a lot of it depends on your temperature. If your temperature is not high enough, no matter how much salt you put down, you're not going to get anything. So the maintenance departments are really good about, if they can recognize how we can do another route of entry into the building, then they'll block off that area to prevent someone from falling. But when you have that snow and ice, it's impossible to get every surface cleaned, especially depending on what the temperature is. You got to park your car somewhere, and it's almost impossible to clean every parking lot to get every piece of ice off of there to avoid any falls.
Unless there's any other questions, I move to approve.
Motion to approve, Commissioner James. Second, Commissioner Oliver. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, the report has been approved.
Have a good evening.
Thank you, sir. Recovery Court report. Director Lachelle Ricks. Good evening.
Here's the Recovery Court report for January. We had a total of 178 participants, 42 in our drug court, 31 in our day program, and 30 in our night DUI court programs, 58 in our mental health court. We had a total of 11 new participants, 3 graduations, and 2 terminations.
Questions on the report? Motion to approve, Commissioner Beverly.
Second.
Second, Commissioner James. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the report has been approved. I believe we have 3 budget amendments and a grant proposal. Am I correct? Begin where you wish to begin.
Okay. We are requesting to move $2,000 out of our supply line and put $1,000 into a gas line. We just have an increased participants, and it's causing us to travel further into more homes, and then another $1,000 into our dues and memberships to cover the cost of our national conference membership.
Found that one? Ray has it?
Have 3 lines on the budget amendment form that are filled in, the first 3.
Questions? Comments or a motion?
I move to approve.
Motion approved. Commissioner James, second. Commissioner Sereno, further discussion? We will vote on this. Madam Secretary, call the roll.
Commissioner Beverly?
Yes.
Commissioner McMurray?
Yes.
Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner James?
Yes.
Commissioner Rather?
Yes.
Commissioner Oliver?
Aye.
Chairman Reed?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, which one next?
The next one is going to be for our mental health court grant. The state has approved reallocation for the grant line for the current contract. This budget amendment is to reallocate funds from salaries and related taxes to longevity, health insurance, and direct client assistance. This will align with the county budget, with the state budget.
Recognizing dollars we received, right?
Motion approved. Commissioner Beverly? Did I have a second? Okay. Have the second. Discussion, further discussion? Roll.
Commissioner Beverly?
Yes.
Commissioner McMurray?
Yes.
Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner James?
Yes.
Commissioner Rather?
Yes.
Commissioner Oliver?
Aye.
Chairman Reed?
Yes.
And our last budget amendment is for our DUI court grant. It is also to align our county budget with our grant budget. We're reallocating funds that were unused from the grant for prior year for revenue and expenses.
You have the proposal. Do we have a motion or questions?
What's the total amount on the one you're looking at?
What is the amount that we're moving?
Yes.
Oh, gosh. It's at a couple of different lines. We're moving 500 to our travel line, 44,000 to our drug screen line, and 2,500 to our, it's to get laptops and other equipment. It's already in the grant. We just had some extra funding from the previous year, so we're just moving it forward.
Thank you.
Move to approve.
Motion approved. Commissioner Rather.
Second.
Have a second. Commissioner Oliver. Further discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Beverly?
Yes.
Commissioner McMurray?
Yes.
Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner James?
Yes.
Commissioner Rather?
Yes.
Commissioner Oliver?
Aye.
Chairman Reed?
Yes. Has been approved.
And the last thing we have is a grant proposal. We are wanting to apply for a grant with the SAMHSA to expand substance use disorder treatment capacity in our adult treatment courts. It is a no-match grant up to $400,000 for a year for 5 years. We have spoke to the mayor and he approved, and we're just asking the commission to approve us to apply. Match.
Have you done this grant before?
Did have this grant, I think it was about 6 or 7 years ago. That was before my time.
Knowing what you know about it, in hindsight, how good did this grant work for us? You know, versus, you know, bringing it in now, obviously, more money is going to be good for you, but bringing it in, how's that really going to help you now? I'm wondering why we have such a big gap, or was this they take the grant off and then bring it back?
I'm thinking the grant may have been out there before. It just wasn't open since I've been here. This is the first time it's been open since I've been back.
Okay, so it's just now reopened. Okay, that's what I needed.
Motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second. Other discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Beverly?
Yes.
Commissioner McMurray?
Yes.
Commissioner Sharino?
Yes.
Commissioner James?
Yes.
Rather?
Yes.
Commissioner Oliver?
Aye.
Chairman Reed?
Yes. Been approved.
And we also have our drug court graduation on March 18th at 11 a.m.
Thank you. All right, probation report. Kelly Haley. Good evening.
With our January report, for the month of January, we supervised a total number of 1,309 cases. During the month, we closed out 113 cases, which equaled 106 participants, or 106 probationers. For the month of January, in our various classes and programs, we had a total of 67 participants. 15 of those successfully completed whatever class or program they were in for the month. 5 were discharged unsuccessfully for various reasons. With our olive branch, we were able to assist either with clothing and or food or toiletries with a total of 6 people that are on probation with us. With our 10 Rocks court program with Judge Bennett, we currently have 19 active participants. 2 have a pending assessment on their upcoming court date. 9 successfully completed that program during the month, and there will be a 10 Rocks graduation for those people, those 9 participants, this Thursday in Judge Bennett's courtroom at 2 p.m. 9 is going to be the biggest number that we've had graduate from that program since he started it, so we are super excited about that. And then on the bottom of the report, you've got our finances for the month. We had a total revenue of $15,005.03 with an expenditures of $128,136 for a differences of $113,131. For the month of January, we submitted $10,781 to the clerks for a payment plan. That made the fiscal year total for that's been sent to the clerks $107,842. Of cases that we closed that we weren't able to send for a payment plan was 4,893, which brought that fiscal year total to $34,197. And for the month of January, we supervised a total number of 10 probationers that the court had deemed indigent when they were in court. That would be my report for January.
There's the report. Any questions, comments?
I have a question and probably comment. The 10 Rocks, 9 is the highest we've had, correct? So 1 is success, but based on your anticipation or imagination or whatever, are you pretty pumped about that number and how that
I am.
program's working?
The big number that entered right when they started the program, so it was just they were furloughed, ordered to serve their sentence, and then furloughed into the program, so there was a large number that were going to come set to expire, I guess, from the program and at the same time, so they're all going to graduate successfully. We've only had, I think, well, there were 3 right towards the end of December for the month of January that were discharged. Their furlough was revoked and they were ordered back to serve their sentence. But we still have 19, and the target size for that program is about 30. So we are really looking at our violations for new charges or for positive drug screens, qualify, or so who we can submit for referrals to try to get it to that 30 so that we've got, you know, the maximum number that we can try to have in there so that we do have more positive outcomes. But for our people who are on probation with us and violate with a substance abuse issue that want to do it, it has been a great thing.
Just want to make sure I
James?
was reading this correctly. Thank you, Chairman. It's Thursday at 2 p.m. is
Yes,
the
sir.
ceremony?
Thursday at 2 p.m. in Judge Bennett's courtroom on the 2nd. I believe his courtroom is 2.
Okay,
Thursday at 2 p.m. Yes, sir.
thank you.
Yes, sir.
Unless there's any other questions? You have a question? Okay. Move to approve?
Motion to approve, Commissioner James.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Oliver. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, report has been approved. Thank you. Correction Work Center. Superintendent Cope.
Afternoon. First thing you'll see in your packet is our February 5th Work Center Board meeting. And within that, there's going to be some statistics, and if it's okay with you all, I'll come back to those and finish up with that. Also in your packet, you'll find the work release program statistics. Everything's going great with that. We're actually looking at some new companies to work with to kind of beef that up. About 20% of our population goes out on work release throughout the day. Yearly activity report, our population is staying about the same. January trash, county roads, county trash collected 12,350 pounds, and then state routes, we collected 746 bags. And then our 2024 January monthly worker report shows a total combined savings of $73,749 using EMA. Back to these statistics that were attached in your packet there. These statistics were at the request of our board, and the significance of the 2010 and the 2023 date has to do with the fact that our board wanted to see just how far we've come since 2010. And that number is because in 2008, the construction was completed on the new Correctional Work Center over on Church Street. And within 2 years of the institution being built, it had become plagued with violence, illegal contraband, drug use, vandalism, inappropriate behavior, and high recidivism rates. So at the time, the then Sheriff Truman Jones and Mayor Burgess asked myself and Bernard Solandi to put together a team and go over to that work center after they voted out their superintendent and improve the direction and the culture of that department. So I'll go through these statistics just to kind of give you an idea of the difference between that 2010 when we went over and took that department over and today, or last year in 2023. Average daily population we've cut in half. Total incidents, if you'll take a look at that, total incidents within a year, 2,037. Total incidents within 2023 was 1,062. Now, something else I want you to really take into consideration, in 2010, there wasn't a whole lot of documentation when we went over there. So that number, that 2,037 is probably double that as far as the incidents are concerned. turn over to the select offender disciplinaries, you'll see that contraband, in a year, there was usually, and that's a low number, as I said, most of them weren't even documented at the time, 90 documented cases, and in 2023 we had 15. Disruption of security, 176 in 2000, and that was in 2010. 2023 we had 25. Disruptive behavior in 2010, 22 of them, and then in 2023 we had 4. This one is pretty interesting too. Staff provided with false information, 223 in 2010, and last year we had 1. Insolence, 53. Last year we had 4. Sexual misconduct, 2010 they had 10 in that 1 year, and last year we had 0. Simple possession, in 2010 they had 29 documented. If I had to guess, I'd say that was probably actually double or triple what that number is actually posted as right there, but we had 5 in the last year. And then threats to staff, 12 in 2010 and 2 last year. Next would be assaultive behaviors. If you'll take a look at that, in 2010 they had 30 fights or mutual affrays. Last year we had 8 in a whole year. Assaults, that could be either on each other or on staff. They had 30 within that year of 2010, and last year we had 11, and none of those were on staff. This one is a big one, especially where you all are concerned. Medical incidents. In 2010, there were 2,037 recorded medical incidents within that facility. That's not counting your regular nurse call. That's actual medical incidents. Last year we had 143. Went from 2,037 to 143. This is another one important to look at. Uses of force. 2010, they had 57 uses of force in that facility. Last year we had 4. We almost went 3 years without a use of force in that facility up until last year. Then restorative programs, which is really the catalyst for what the change of culture that we have in that facility. In 2010, they had 7 programs throughout the whole year in 2010. Last year, we had 72. Different programs. They may be going on once a week. They may be going on daily, but that's 72 separate programs. So just wanted to kind of give you an idea of what those statistics were. Honestly, transformational leadership, change of culture, really is what makes those numbers go down. And not only that, our recidivism rate has gone down tremendously over the past several years, down to about 34%. That's my report.
Good report. Questions?
Mr. Chairman,
This is the,
question, please.
I had a
I'm
question over
sorry.
here. I'm sorry, I was just pointing and then I heard something
That's
over here.
okay. Go ahead.
Sorry.
this is a very valuable tool. These graphs, these breakdowns, to see the back and the forth from 2010 to 23. I would like to know if there's any possibility we can do kind of similar to what we get with the OSHA report, where we can do the moving forward each month. We have the last 2 years and then this current year filled in as we're going, just so we can kind of start seeing a projection of if we're trending up or down, because this is a very, very good indication that we're in the right track and we're doing very well with that. And I'd like to see if we can maintain it, but the only way to do that, in my opinion, would be that. So is that viable to do that, or would you need your board?
Oliver?
Thank you. I had two questions. One was about the false information. Can you explain that a little bit further?
False information could be anything. That could be, for instance, you go into a housing unit and you ask a particular offender, do you have, 2 mattresses? And they tell you, no, I don't have 2 mattresses. And you find out they do have 2 mattresses. It's really just a lie. So that's really all it is.
I was just wondering why, I guess why it was reported here. I know in investigative processes you have people to lie, whatever, but were there penalties assessed here because of these?
Well, the most interesting part about the false information is the fact that offenders now feel more comfortable telling the truth, and that's a change in culture. So it's not necessarily a disciplinary or a penalty. It's more about a cultural issue. With if offender feels more comfortable coming to you and telling you the truth, then you've got a better communication and a better relationship with those folks.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. My second question was, what prompted this report? You bringing this to us this month? Did you have to prepare this for something else?
Well, no, like I said, the board asked about it. The board, when they asked us to take over in 2010, the conversation came up in our last board meeting about how far we've come since 2010. And they said, well, we'd like to see, some statistics on things that have changed and improvements that we've made since 2010. So that's really where it came from.
Commissioner Rather?
I have a question that's has been presented to me, and I'm not sure how to answer it. And I've seen it too, where your litter pickup crews on Sam Ridley Parkway. And I've had a few people call, just a few, not a big deal, but they're saying, why are they in Smyrna picking up trash? I said, well, the best answer I can give you is Smyrna is in Rutherford County. And then they ask, why do we not see them on Main Street in Murfreesboro? I have no idea what the answer is.
Well, each of the municipalities have their own streets crew. And if we get a call that goes into the mayor's office that says, hey, we need some help out on such and such road. It's, there's more litter out there than there is anywhere else. We'll coordinate with whatever streets crew that is. Now, we're not going to just step into anybody's job and start doing it without some sort of communication. So if they see someone on Sam Ridley and it's in the Smyrna city limits, technically, yes, that is Smyrna Street's responsibility to do. But it's not going to stop us from helping out. And if, Murfreesboro City Streets calls us and says, we need some help over on Main Street, then we'll be there too.
Thank you.
Other questions? Motion to approve, Commissioner Rather. Second, Commissioner Oliver. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Report has been approved.
Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Good report. Juvenile detention. They're making their way up here. Let me mention something. The mayor was here, if you'll remember, last month talking about the forensic center, and he had stated that he would try to come back each month and give us an update. This month, there hasn't been anything that has really changed, so he's not here this month to give us anything because there really just hasn't been that much of a change in where we are. So he'll be here when he has changes in what's happening with the forensic center. So I thought I'd bring you up to date on that. My vice chairman reminded me of that, so I'm bringing it to you at his request, and that's totally where we are because we did ask him. All right. Ms. Duke?
Good evening. In front of you, you have the monthly report for January. The most noteworthy item on the yearly activity report is going to be petitions filed with JC, and you'll notice that for January there was 0. The county employee that does that in our facility is currently out on FMLA, so that's why there wasn't any petitions filed in at our facility. However, the Sheriff's Department, JC's, were able to pick up those additional petitions at their office. I've also included the board minutes from January 8th, and our usual release and detain information. We did have a few more positives on our STD report for January, and then the usual education report, and I can answer, hopefully, any questions you have regarding any of these items.
Commissioners, Commissioner James.
How fast do you think you'll be able to fill these 3 positions?
Are you talking about the JC?
I was looking at your minutes, and you
Oh,
have
okay.
2 full-time female detention officer positions and 1 corporal.
Okay, I'm sorry. So our corporal position has been filled from within, and we still have a couple of open positions for detention officers. What's been happening is we will almost get fully staffed, and then we will have somebody who will not pass a background check that we were hoping would be able to be a new hire, or have people that change positions or decide it's not quite the job experience they were hoping for. So every time we get somebody hired in or hope to have someone hired in, then something else comes up. So we are so close to being fully staffed, but there's always something that happens that keeps those positions constantly. I mean, I have staff that unfortunately the majority of their job duties are going through applications, interviewing, and trying to get those positions filled. They spend a lot of time doing that, and we are looking at applications repeatedly, and sometimes 2 or 3 times at the same person, seeing if there's any way that we could make it a good fit for our department. But we want to make sure that we get the best possible employees that we can, so we don't want to be too hasty, but we're doing our very best to get them filled.
Mr. Rather.
Director, I look at numbers from July, and if that number is kind of lopsided, it draws my attention. So the people in your facility under attended church has averaged around 19 or 20. Last month was 4. So I have a couple questions. Why do you think that's happening? And is church, the pastor come there, or how does that work?
So the way that our religious volunteers work are that we have different churches or church groups that rotate the first week, second week, third week. And then if we have a volunteer that leaves, we have a waiting list for people to be plugged into those rotations. I would say that the weather potentially played part of that. We have probably some issues with young men who aren't quite ready to attend our church services that we offer. I say young men just because we mostly have a male population. We do have some young ladies right now. We have a in-house chaplain that has a fabulous relationship with the young people, and they may be getting that cup filled through that chaplain, and then they just may not jive with the volunteers that come in. That happens sometimes. But I can report that our chaplain is well loved and well used, and he's actually been helping with for all of us.
Anyone else? Motion approved. Commissioner Rather.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Sereno. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed? It is approved. Thank you. Emergency Service, Public Safety Report. Director Chris Clark.
Chairman, Commissioners, before you, hopefully, you have our report from January 17th to February 17th. I'd entertain any questions that you may have. A couple of little additions is talking to discussing.
Director, if you don't mind, push that mic back just a little bit. It's sort of like a spit tune. If you don't hit it, it don't work.
Gotcha.
And I've noticed that tonight. It's got down here so low. Some people move to the side, you can't hear it. But you got to get it back there where your mouth gets to it.
Gotcha.
So.
Thank you.
Okay.
Now I'm echoing. So one of the things that we've concentrated a lot, we've had a lot of conversations with the school safety director and also our local law enforcement as far as upcoming training. Also, for our radio system, we're right now undertaking a maintenance upgrade, which that's kind of standard. So those are a couple items that kind of stands out.
Questions on the
Mr. Chairman.
report? Yes.
Did any of our systems get affected with this AT&T outage for you?
We didn't have any errors that we know of.
Do we bounce off any of their towers?
That I don't know. And that was, a lot of that depends with our ECD 911 that could probably get that data. However, I don't recall anybody having any trouble with 911.
Other questions?
Move to approve.
Motion approved. James, have a second. Commissioner Beverly. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? The report has been approved. I believe you've got a grant and a budget amendment, correct?
Yes, sir. This budget amendment is being requested to recognize the fiscal year 2022 Emergency Management Program grant and the fiscal year 24 Hazardous Materials grant. The fiscal year 22 EMPG funds will be used in the current year in the above expense line items to offset some unassigned fund balance previously used for the expenses in 2020 and 2021. Last but not least, required match of $4,200 for the fiscal year 24 grant. This 24 H&P grant is an 80-20 matching grant, and the funding will be used to attend the Hazardous Materials Response Team Conference in June 5th through the 9th in Baltimore. So we're receiving this money, and we'd like to place it in those appropriate line items.
Questions on the budget amendment?
Not sure why anybody would want to go to Baltimore, but I move to approve.
Have a motion to approve. We have a second. Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Beverly?
Yes.
Commissioner McMurray?
Yes.
Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner James?
Yes.
Commissioner Rather?
Yes.
Commissioner Oliver?
Aye.
Chairman Reed?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, now, that's it?
So,
All right. Thank you, sir. All right, emergency medical services. Director Gaither, Brian Gaither. Evening, sir. I've noticed in your report that y'all been moving quite a bit this month.
Good evening. For the month of January, we had 3,357 calls, 9 interfacility transfers, a response time of 7 minutes, 14 seconds, 182 DOAs, 30 of those were sent for autopsies. We collected $874,277. Then the bottom of that page is the maintenance and total miles. Next page is in-service training and community relations. The convalescent side, we did 453 calls, collected $121,937. And the next couple of pages are just some emails that we got sent, attaboys to the crew. But the second one on that, I showed it to Chief Farley a while ago. It came from a captain within his department, and I thought that was really take the time and reach out and send an email about that crew. So.
Heard the report. Questions, comments, or a motion? Move to approve. Commissioner Beverly approves. Commissioner Sereno seconds. Further discussion? All those in favor, say aye. Those opposed? Report has been approved, sir. That's your budget amendment, yes, sir.
We're asking to move $200,000 from the paraprofessional line item into the part-time line item to cover PRN personnel for vacancies and FMLA and vacation time.
Move to approve.
Motion to approve. Commissioner Rather.
Second.
Have a second. Commissioner McMurray. Further discussion?
Question.
Question? Go ahead, Commissioner Oliver.
Are those positions being eliminated, or what's going to happen with that?
We have probably keep about 5 to 8 vacancies at all time, honestly. So we're filling those positions with part-time and overtime, but our part-time line item, we're running out of money. So it's just coming out of that full-time line item from positions that we haven't been able to fill.
Will those line items they'll just stay on your next budget as well?
Yeah, it's just the money where the full-time is paid out of. It's not a position.
Other questions?
Commissioner Beverly? Yes. Commissioner McMurray?
Yes.
Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner James?
Yes.
Commissioner Rather?
Yes.
Commissioner Oliver?
Aye.
Chairman Reed?
Yes.
One last thing, and I don't know if this is in there. We have...
It is. You're talking about your...
Yeah, the paramedic.
Paramedic.
Yes, so we have 6 people that are completing, some of them have completed the whole process. Some of them are very close of completing the training that we require to go from a paramedic 1 to a paramedic 2. 6 positions, it's about $2,000 a position. We currently have that within our budget. I spoke with Michael before I came in here, and he was.
Motion approved. Commissioner Beverly. Have a second. Commissioner Rather, further discussion? If not, please call the roll.
Commissioner Beverly?
Yes.
Commissioner McMurray?
Yes.
Commissioner Sharino?
Yes.
Commissioner James?
Yes.
Commissioner Rather?
Yes.
Commissioner Oliver?
Aye.
Chairman Reed?
Yes. Thank you, sir. Fire and Rescue Report. Barry Farley. Good evening, sir.
Before I get started, I'd like to announce that on April the 5th at 11 a.m. At New Vision Baptist Church, our recruit class 2401 will graduate that morning, and there will be a hard copy in your mailbox this week, inviting you to that, and I think you really enjoy it. And I know the guys appreciate it very much, but you'll be getting in your mailbox this week. Friday, April 5th at 11 a.m. at New Vision. The month of January, we ran 751 calls. Next, she's breaking it down per call, per department, which includes Amble and Christiana and Eagleville. For a county total of 856 calls. Thankfully, we only had one structure fire in January that was damaged that we send to the codes department. Fire prevention report and classifications of fires we had. Unfortunately, we had no smoke alarms installed for the month of January. And then the last sheet is the list of illegal burns that we've had for the month of January. That concludes my report, and I have 2 other things I want to.
Have the report, Commissioners. Any questions, comments?
Please.
Commissioner Oliver?
Did you say 1 structure fire? Your report shows 4. Am I reading something wrong? In January?
Oh, okay, what that is, we had some structures like outbuildings and stuff like that, but what I send to the codes department is like a home of somebody's residence, because that way I also sent it to the tax assessor's office too. But that.
Thank you. I got you.
Mr.
Chairman. I have some questions on some numbers, and I'd like to, if at all possible, I could ask for Brian and Chris also to help me with this. I'm trying to compare notes, and it's just not lining up for me. I just want to make sure if I'm looking at the wrong line, I'm looking at the wrong line. That's what I'm thinking. It's similar to what last month pointed out some of the numbers. On Chris's report, the fire calls was 552. On here for the month, it was 751, and for county total, it's 856. So I'm trying to match these numbers and understand them a little better. And on the EMS side, on EMA's report, it was 1838, but for county total, it was 453. So I'd just like to, kind of while I've got this in front of me, if I can kind of ask them to just kind of come up here and show me again, make sure I'm just looking at this wrong before I proceed.
Well, I get my report off ESO, and that's based on what reports we write. And then everything I get for volunteers is documents they send me every month with the address and where they responded to. Okay. So, I mean, if it's wrong, but that's, I mean, I'd go by what they tell me they responded to.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see where it's wrong, and I'm assuming with the multiple different numbers, I'm hoping it's just the line items that I'm looking at off center or so. I just kind of want to look at. So if look at
Mr. Chairman, while they're looking at that, so we don't have a lot of dead space,
Go right ahead.
I'd just kind of like to follow up on the shout out from week before last at the commission meeting. All of our safety departments, that includes emergency medical service, emergency responders, our fire and rescue, and for the job when we had
Really appreciate that. But I have to say, and these guys will back me up, the Ruff County Sheriff's Office, EMS, and Fire and Rescue and EMA all work together, and most of these, and a lot of the guys are buddies. I mean, we always invite the deputies into all of our stations if they want to come out, get a cup of coffee, use the restroom, just have a safe place or whatever, and they get along really well. It's amazing just to watch the interaction between all of them, and it makes me proud to be a part of this county.
Okay. Commissioners, just a reminder, tomorrow at 12 o'clock out at the solid waste, we are having a groundbreaking for the transfer station. Have been invited to be out there for that groundbreaking, so you might want to put that down if you're available. I know some of you have other jobs and occupations. Be sure and put that down.
Mr. Chairman, in case somebody watching TV doesn't know where that is, can you remind us?
I had the address. I don't have it right here with me, but somebody on solid waste. Are you on Public Works, Mr. Rather?
The station that grand opening tomorrow at 12, If you just come down off Jefferson, off of 231 on Jefferson Pike, as soon as you see the waste office right there, and you'll see our fire station, as soon as you pass our fire station, turn right there at the convenience center, take that road all the way back. I'm sure Bishop will probably have signs out there. What he was asking me is that what Chris is giving the numbers of what dispatch takes in, and the reason those numbers are different is because you may have a fire or an MVA, and if we go and the volunteers send a truck, then all those counties runs. I'm giving you a total of what runs the volunteers run and runs we run. Maybe one call that you get in several agencies on. So that's why the numbers are different. Yeah, we were called out to Giles County. Did you vote on that?
Do what? Go ahead.
Yeah, we're requested to Giles County last week to help we searched for a person that was missing. They thought he might be in the water, so we sent a dive team and a swiftwater team down there to help them search. And I got this nice letter from the fire chief down there at Giles County Fire and Rescue. And unfortunately, I got this after I had sent my report in to be filed for y'all to be able to see it. But it said, Chief, I would like to extend a big thanks to you and the crew that came down to help us search for one of our citizens today. I'm sure you're aware of how great a group of folks you have working for you. They truly did hit the ground, run it, ready to go and to work, and that's what they did. They are true professionals in our craft. As much as I would like to say we made a recovery today, unfortunately I can't. However, we were able to locate some specific evidence that assures that we are putting our resources in the right place on the water. Even while on the drive back to their home station, I spoke to Commander Engel and Captain Richardson. They were still providing thoughts of the next steps and possibilities that I value tremendously. The whole day was very much the same way, productive, crosstalk, planning, and then execution. They are a great crew. Thank you so much for sending them. Please extend my appreciation to them, and if you ever have a need, don't hesitate to call out. Sincerely, Chief Mitchell, Giles County Fire and Rescue. Also, if y'all remember, Murfreesboro Fire Department lost one of their guys in the line of duty, and they called us, and we were very honored to do that. We sent a truck and a crew over to the fire station on Thompson Lane, and we covered that station for them so they could honor their fallen brother from 9 a.m. that morning to 4:30 p.m. that afternoon. And tomorrow, Chris is going up, and we're going to send a search and rescue crew tomorrow. Hendersonville, Sumner County, because they have a 15-year-old boy missing in Sumner County, and so we're going to send a crew up there to help. We are constantly called to help other counties, and if we're possible, if we're fully staffed, we do that. And because I know if we ever have a big need here or a big, I just want to kind of tell you how we're interacting and mingling with other counties. And matter of fact, tonight our guys were sent down to Persepolis Lake, down there close to Laverne. They had two people in the water that was a jet ski, and it went down. So but we found them, and they're safe and they're sound, and everything's good. But it's constantly something like it all the time, and I'm very thankful that our department, like I say, is an all hazards department, and we have those capabilities to do that kind of thing. So we're often called on. So that concludes my report.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Okay, have we approved your report? I've got so confused in here and what's going on.
Well, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Apologize for that. I appreciate everybody's indulgence on that. It's also numbers, and it was partly with different dispatching numbers put together, mixed with different takes of it, and on different reports having the same line name for total calls for this department in the month that just weren't adding up. I've got some explanations that seem reasonable and credible. I'm going to do some more digging and research just to make sure that everything is kind of sets, let it digest some and let it set, but it does seem to go together. And if it's not already been made, I'd like to make the motion to approve his report.
Motion to approve. Do I have a second? Second. Commissioner Oliver, all in favor say aye. Those opposed? Thank you. Anyway, you look at it, it's a lot of numbers. And when you look at it, you got to look at the adoption runs that we have right here. In fact, I brought this up to our state delegation last month. And just the other day, I pulled into one of our public safety buildings, and one of our engines was sitting there, and they had just been pulled in or towed in by a tow truck. Reason being, it had blown a radiator. And you got to remember, we got equipment out here that's got over 100,000 miles on it. And when you're running 856 runs out here, and we got stuff running all the time, and I don't care, we can look at this right here and look at all the different numbers we got, but we're on the road continually. And as I said to our director from the ambulance service, I see them every time I come into town. There's one going by, there's one going here, there's one going there. I stepped out of a restaurant yesterday on Sunday, and there went one right by the restaurant, and I had a bunch of people standing there. I said, you know how many runs they make a month? And I gave them that number, Brian, and they just said, you are kidding me. I said, no, I'm not. And I said, as we continue to grow, that number's going to increase, and they're going to need more and more equipment. And I said, our fire departments out here are looking at over 400 square miles they have to protect. Same situation we've got right there. And our sheriff's department's got the same problems. And if you'll look on the news tonight and you see what's coming into our area and what we're dealing with, and we're no longer dealing with people stealing gas on the farm. We're dealing with major situations. And you know, no matter the numbers that we see right here, these numbers are going to increase. And it's important we keep, as a county commission here, trying our best to do what we can to improve public safety. That's what I see as my job, and I hope you see that it's your job too. I mean, that's my speech tonight. I'll get off my stump and we'll get back to business right here. Just to tell you, the groundbreaking ceremony is tomorrow at noon. It's at 6000 Landfill Road here in Murfreesboro. So just go out towards Walter Hill, set your GPS for 6000 Landfill Road, and you'll be there. So thank you. All right, we'll move now to Sheriff's Office. Yes, sir, Mr. Spence.
Good evening. Our inmate population this afternoon is 861. Updates on our openings and communications. We have 6 openings with 4 applicants in the background stage. SROs have 9 openings with 6 applicants in background stage. Detention has 38 openings, 19 applicants in the background stage. Patrol has 26 positions opening, 12 applicants in the background stage. That's in my report.
Heard the report. You have received a copy of the report. Any further discussion? Questions?
Chairman, I have a quick question.
Yes.
Do we have an update on the rollout or the testing of the body cams that you all are looking to implement?
Yes, sir. They are working great. The courts like them. The officers are getting familiar with them, and they're a great tool for the deputies to have.
Is every individual, every deputy within the department going to have it, like say patrol, SROs, or is it just right now in the courts or whatever?
Right now we have them deployed for patrol, and then officers, they have to work extra duty. They come and check one out, and they'll have it on them while they're working extra duty.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yes, sir. So you said 871 head count?
861.
861?
Yes, ma'am.
This says 873.
That's this morning's count, and I always give you the afternoon count. You have
So you
some
have
that gets
releases
released
and
from
gotcha.
courts and so forth.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions we might have?
Make a motion to approve.
A motion approved, Commissioner McMurray. Second, Commissioner Oliver. Further questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? All right, it is approved. The report is, I believe we have a budget amendment.
Yes, sir. This budget amendment is to recognize SRO grant money and appropriate money to upgrade our fire alarm system and fire suppression system. We're asking for $450,000 to place into our building improvements.
Move to approve.
Motion to approve, Commissioner Rather.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Sereno. Discussion.
Is there any match here?
No, ma'am, we're pulling money from the SRO grant money and
Or
placing
from
into the
money
building.
that we already have? Is that
Yes,
what you're
ma'am.
saying? Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a question. Is that money, I mean, that 450,000, is it going to make a difference if the SRO department needs that or whatnot, or?
No, ma'am, this money is from the grant where it substitutes for the salaries for one SRO per school, the $75,000 per school. Got with Director Smith, and this is where we wanted to pull the revenue to pay for the fire alarm.
Okay. And about how, what's the age of the fire alarm system now? Like, how old is it?
It's unrepairable. You can't find parts for it and so forth.
Okay.
I'd be afraid to answer how old it is. I'll tell you wrong.
That tells me enough.
Yes, sir.
Other questions? Okay, I believe we're ready to vote.
Commissioner Beverly? Yes. Commissioner McMurray?
Yes.
Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner James? Commissioner Rather?
Yes.
Commissioner Oliver?
Aye.
Chairman Reed?
Yes,
Thank you.
approved.
Thank you. We have a grant request. We're requesting to apply for the Tennessee Highway Safety Office and teen grant. The Tennessee Highway Safety Office grant pays for the overtime and equipment for deputies working saturations and traffic enforcement. We're requesting $150,000. For the teen grant, it pays for the overtime and equipment for deputies working teen driving education. We're requesting $20,000 with it. We apply for this grant each year. It runs from October to September. It's no match.
Motion to approve?
Second.
A motion to approve.
Rather second it.
Okay, got second. I was looking at something up here, so excuse me. All right, questions? Go, please vote.
Commissioner Beverly?
Yes.
Commissioner McMurray?
Yes.
Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner James?
Yes.
Commissioner Rather?
Yes.
Commissioner Oliver?
Aye.
Chairman Reed?
Yes. Okay, I believe you have another one there.
Yes, sir. We're requesting to apply for the financial year 25 community project funding grant through Correctional funding. Thank you, sir. This is a one-year no-match grant with the option for extension for an additional 3 years. If approved, the funding would not be available till in September of 25. We're requesting $700,000. We're going to use the funds to purchase a rapid DNA instrument.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion approved. Commissioner Rather, second. Commissioner Oliver, questions? Call the roll.
Commissioner Beverly?
Yes.
Commissioner McMurray?
Yes.
Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner James?
Yes.
Commissioner Rather?
Yes.
Commissioner Oliver?
Aye.
Chairman Reed?
Yes.
Thank you.
I have one more item, Chairman. We're requesting to go before the opioid board March 6th to request $5,000 to purchase AMBU air shields, manual breathing units. These will be used during overdose crisis to give patients emergency breaths. If approved, we would be able to buy 200 AMBU bags. 2023, we had 137 overdoses, with 7 of those being turning out to be deaths.
Can you repeat the beginning part of that? I don't have it.
I was just going to bring this up to y'all, make you aware. It's want to go in front of the opioid board to request $5,000 to buy AMBU bags. So when we respond to overdoses crisis, we can give them emergency breaths.
You do understand the Sheriff's Department works with that board anyway, but he's just asking for a request to go and ask for this. Motion to approve over here with Jonathan Beverly. Have a second. Second. Commissioner Oliver. Can we get by with just a voice vote on that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? It is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
if I may bring up, in 10 weeks, the Renaissance Festival will start in May. Mentioned it to Chris about reaching out to Williamson County to prepare for better traffic flow out that way, and asking if y'all can request from the Highway Department to put the detour signs or some kind of signs down Spantown Road to direct traffic onto 96 to get up to that event that can handle that kind of traffic flow. We learned last year they were very badly backed up all the way through that entire length, and just wanted to see what we can do to just put you on notice that in 10 weeks the event's coming around again, whatever we can do to help alleviate that pain for those residents out there.
Yes, sir. I'll get with Mr. Brooks and see what we can do.
We appreciate it.
Commissioner James just needs to get to Louis Vuitton in Cool Springs on Saturday, so that's why he's bringing it up.
Okay. Anything else? Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
All right. Other business?
One more thing, I want to piggyback off what Chairman Phillips talked about. I had the privilege of being a reserve deputy. Wasn't on payroll, but I wore the uniform and did that job. And there was so many times that the fire department, EMS was involved, and I learned a whole lot. And one of the main things I learned is they'll rag each other and make comments, but when a call comes out, it is truly, truly a brotherhood. Even if you didn't like the other guy, it was a brotherhood, and they joined together and did the job for the citizens of Rutherford County. And I've seen it firsthand. For 6 years, I saw it firsthand, and it was phenomenal. I will never forget that, you know, they call it Brothers in Blue, but and I think Commissioner Beverly will attest to this, they wear different uniforms, different colors, but when a call comes out, it's a brotherhood. And I wish there was 20,000 people sitting in this place that could hear that. But I appreciate Commissioner Phillips bringing that up and giving that shout out. So I'm piggybacking on his shout out. So I'm a secondhand shout out.
Thank you, Commissioner. Absolutely. Okay, anything else? Is that other business? If not, we are adjourned.